Is HouHou potentially God tier in Honkai Star Rail? Well, join me in today's video to maybe figure out potentially why. We're going to take a look at all of her kit and try and determine what is going to be so good about her and whether she's going to be God tier or not. Spoiler alert, I get the feeling she's going to be pretty damn good. Now, obviously we don't have her in game just yet, so I'm going to be reading off some information, and I'm going to be showing you guys some gameplay of the actual, her in the background over the top, so you guys can see what's kind of going on. Now, what kind of role does she fill? Well, she's a wind element character that does abundance, so she's a healer, but she's also one of those units where rather than being just straight heals, she's a bit more like a hybrid kind of character. So she kind of fills the role of an abundance and a harmony character at the same time, which is potentially really, really good. So let's just read over her skills for a minute, and so we can just talk about what she kind of does. So her basic attack, which is a single target, does 20 energy regeneration, has a weakness break for a single target of 30, deals wind damage equal to 65% of HouHou's max HP to a target enemy. That's at level 6, so most basics, level 6 abilities. Her skill, Talisman Protection, is a restoration skill, does 30 energy regen, dispels one debuff from a single target ally, and immediately restores this ally HP by amount equal to 24% of HouHou's magic XP, plus 718. At the same time, restore HP for allies that are adjacent to this target by an amount equal to 19.6% of HouHou's max XP, plus 574, sorry. So basically, it's a healing skill that heals one target and then heals the adjacent targets for a slightly lesser amount of HP. Then she has her ultimate, which is Tail Spiritual Domination Ultimate, which is a support skill. It generates 5 energy and regenerates energy for all allies, excluding this character, by an amount equal to 22.5% of their respective max HP. At the same time, increase their attack by 48% for 2 turns. This is the key part to her skill. This is the thing that might make her very, very, very strong. And if that's the case, this is going to be good. So there's quite a few use cases I was thinking of where this could be really, really good, and I'll go over those in a minute for certain team comps. Then she has a talent, which is Possession, Ethereal, Metaflow. So after using a skill, HouHou gains Sacrificed Life, lasting for 2 turns. Duration decreases by 1 turn. At the start of HouHou's turn, if HouHou has Sacrificed Life, when an ally's turn starts, or when an ally uses their ultimate, restore HP for that ally by an amount equal to 5.25% of HouHou's max HP, plus 154. So basically, she just gets heals for allies when they use their turn or use their ultimate. At the same time, every ally with 50% HP or lower gets healed once. When Sacrifice Life is triggered to heal allies, dispel 1 debuff from that ally. This effect can be triggered up to 6 times using the skills. Again, resets the effect upon trigger count. This is very, very good, because not only this is a bit of passive healing over time, but having that extra debuff of dispelling a debuff is very, very good. And then she has her 3 bonus traces, which she gets at Ascension 2, 4, and 6. So the first one is when battle starts, HouHou gains Sacrificed Life lasting for 1 turn. This is very, very good, basically just meaning that stack things we're talking about just then, she gets some just automatically by default. Her second one is a little bit less good, but still very useful. A chance to resist crowd control debuffs increased by 35%. So this is very, very good. It's not like, not very, very good. It's just a very needed thing for them. Simply for the fact that if you're going to be dispelling debuffs, you want to resist debuffs yourself. So that's what that essentially is. So yeah, when a talent is triggered to heal all allies, HouHou regenerates 1 energy. This is not bad. I'm going to assume that that number might be wrong, or maybe that's slightly different. Although I suppose it's for each proc, so yeah, that could be right. But yeah, potentially very, very good. As for her Eidolons, let's just go over these real quick. A lot of you guys aren't going to be necessarily doing these. A lot of people tend to just get a copy of the character and a copy of the light cone if they can. So, but anyways. So E1 gives the duration of Sacrificed Life produced by the talent is extended by 1 turn. When HouHou possesses Sacrificed Life, all allies' speed increased by 12%. Not bad. At E2, if HouHou possesses a Sacrificed Life, when an ally is struck by a killing blow, the ally will not be knocked down and their HP will immediately be restored by an amount equal to 50% of their max HP. This reduces the duration of Sacrificed Life by 1 turn, so it can only be triggered 2 times per battle. Yet again, not bad. We're going to skip over E3 because that's just a level to ultimate and level to talent. E4, when healing a target ally via skill or talent, the less HP the target ally currently has, the higher the amount of healing they will receive. The maximum increased healing power provided by HouHou is 80%. E4 is pretty good, but most people are not going to be getting this, so it's diminishing returns in terms of stellar jade cost. E5 is another just skill level up, so we're going to skip up that. And then E6, woven together, cohere forever. When healing a target ally, increase the target's ally's damage dealt by 50% for 2 turns. E6 is very, very good. Most of you are not going to get there, so I don't feel like that's relevant information. Based off her kit alone, I think she's going to be really, really, really good. Yeah, but based off her kit, I think she's going to be disgustingly good. There's certain characters I'm thinking of off the top of my head that would gain very big utility off of having that extra energy percentage. So characters like the most recent DPS like Jin Liu, being able to get the ultimate up more consistently would really just mean that you would get more stacks of syzygy because the ultimate generates syzygy stacks. So if it's possible to stay in syzygy for longer, then your damage output for Jin Liu is going to increase significantly. I can also see it really, really good for characters like Asta. If you want to focus a little bit less on using their skill to generate energy faster, you can make speed manipulation teams a lot more easily because you can just generate her ult more. Things like having, as filler, like having more Bronya ult up time would be really good. Like there's certain characters that really, really benefit a lot from having the more you have their ultimate up. Or for example, even things like, you wouldn't run 2 sustains in a team usually, but if you were to, for whatever reason, Fuchuan would be a lot better because it means you better use your ultimate more without having to use your skill as much to charge the ultimate, meaning you can focus on using other characters. Characters like Kafka teams, so for example, Kafka and Sampo. Sampo does a huge amount of dots on his ultimate, and Kafka essentially, with her ultimate, procs the dots a second time to do more damage from the dots. So if, basically in translation, if Sampo has his ultimate more often and is doing more wind damage, Kafka gets massive benefit from that because that means there's more dots, meaning more Kafka damage. So stuff like that where there's like certain characters can really benefit from having more ultimate uptime. HouHou might be really, really good for that and kind of circumventing some of those problems. Also the fact that she just does good healing to begin with, and also like a lot of other things too, like the attack boost. If you have Eidolon, she does more stuff as well. So just overall, I get the feeling she's going to be a very, very strong character. As for where I would kind of put her in the tier list, let's just take a look at Prywin's tier list, for example. Obviously, I'm not going to do this for like each target damage like they've done, but I would say at a minimum, she's probably going to be S rank or S plus rank. Just for the fact alone that energy regen is one of the hardest stats to get into a game. In the game on anything, it's like only available on one piece, and a lot of characters in the kit require energy regen. So let's like take a look at some examples. Let me just find one quickly. So things like healers like Lynx, for example. No, that's a bad example. Okay, hold on. So a lot of characters have energy regen, Link Robe, energy regen rate. Like so many characters, part of their kit is building energy regen rate to have their ultimate up more consistently. Not all of them, obviously, but having that energy regen rate is very, very good on a lot of characters. It's usually the more supporting characters or characters that gain massive effect of having their ultimate. So if you can get more energy regen just from doing that, that is awesome, because like I said, literally the only way to get energy regen on a character is there's 2 ways. If it's part of their traces or in their kit in some way, or to get it from a Link Robe. That is it. There is no other way to get energy regen. So having another source of energy regen is good, because like I said, the only 2 ways are to get it from a character's kit. So something like, for example, Tinyun, she gives energy regen to characters off her ultimate. So yeah, it really depends. So yeah, she has the potential to be very, very strong. We'll need to wait and see how she actually plays when she comes out. It's a little bit too early to tell, obviously at the moment. But I reckon overall she's going to be pretty strong and work with a lot of characters. Also, she's just kind of cute, you know? She's got a cool design. I'm really looking forward to this event. I love Halloween kind of themed events, even though it's a little bit late for that. But regardless, this patch is going to be starting in 2 days, guys. So 2 days from now, it's going to be going live. Asia gets it a little bit sooner, I believe. Server time. Or maybe not, I'm not too sure. Anyways, regardless, everything will be starting very, very soon. And there's also the codes here as well. I'll leave these down in the description below if you haven't claimed these yet, but these are codes essentially for different things. Okay, but yeah guys, that's going to be it for today's video. Just a really quick one, just going overview of HouHou's kit and give you my thoughts on the character. Mainly my takeaway is just, I think she's going to be pretty strong. Just having energy regen on a kit is really good, and she's a good Harmony hybrid character. One more thing to like kind of keep note is like, if you're a new player and you have the choice of summoning certain characters, if you're going for a sustain unit, I would still probably go for Fuchuan first. Obviously get your main DPS first. If that's the first character you're going for, get a DPS. Then after that for sustain, I would say Fuchuan. But the thing with HouHou, I would say she's more like a endgame players will be able to utilize her stuff a lot more, just for the fact that you don't really need a huge amount of ultimate uptime during like main story clear. It's only something you need to start worrying about when you're doing like MOC clears or higher levels, simulated universe or that kind of stuff. Her kit feels much more tailored to someone who's doing in-game content, because for most of the story stuff, like sure, it's helpful to have energy regen, don't get me wrong, but it's not something you require or need until later on. Whereas Fuxuan can be helpful throughout the entirety of the game. Whereas like when you get to endgame, it starts becoming a question of like, okay, which DPS character gets more benefit from which one of these? So for example, if I'm doing a Jinyu Liu team, does Jinyu Liu get more benefit out of HouHou or more benefit out of Fuxuan? But in the early game, it's always going to be Fuxuan. So that's like an example of like sustaining characters. And it's going to be a conversation, I think, with the 3 different characters. If you're a new player, which one you pull for, which is going to be HouHou, 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘿, and Fuxuan. All these 3 characters, they do similar-ish kind of things, but in different ways. Like HouHou and 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘿 are a lot more similar. Fuxuan's a little bit different, because Fuxuan probably is the best sustained character in the game at the moment, but for keeping just characters alive. But the thing is, like, do get more benefit on a Jinyu Liu team out of HouHou by having the extra energy regen and the extra attack? Or do you get more benefit out of the extra 10% crit rate? It really depends on what's on your account. Anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. That's really it for this one. I will talk more about this when she actually comes into the game in the next few days, and we'll check out the content as well. So hopefully you guys all enjoyed. I'll see you in another video another time. Bye.
After all, Elio didn't put it in the script. Why would it matter?
Well,